Okay, so this is video 3. Okay, so they want Western supremacy over the East, right? So they want Ashkenazi supremacy over Islam, over Judaism, right? That's what the so-called world church, Vatican world church, is about, right? To have global dominion, spiritual dominion over the world. The Roman Catholicism wants global dominion over the world, right? So therefore, they instituted slavery, right, of the Hebrew Israelites as well um, as the Muslims, right? So uh, um, it was a spiritual attack. That's what the Inquisition was about. The Inquisition is still taking place today, right? With the mass incarceration, with the disenfranchisement of Hebrew Israelites, right, and Muslims, because the Hebrew Israelites are DMT, richly melanated black, right? As well as the Hebrew Israelites as well, right? The only difference between the Jews of Europe that are not Ashkenazi Jews, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the Jews that are of Europe that are related to the DMT melanin rich black Hebrew Israelites. They went into Europe when the um, Inquisition was taking place, right? And those who did not go into Europe were taken into slavery, right? And the institution of slavery, right? And it's all because the Roman Catholicism seeks to have dominion over the world, right? So they want to claim um, spiritual dominion, right? Now, they are known as the synagogue of Satan, right? The dragon, the Antichrist, right? Now, if you notice that the the Vatican, Rothschild Vatican period, because they enslaved the Hebrew Israelites, right? Okay, and the Muslims, right? Okay, so the Vatican um, usurped the attempted to usurp the Egyptian culture, right? The Kemetic culture. Um, and if you notice the crown they wear, they, their headdress. I won't say crown. The headdress they wear is supposed to be the three crowns, right? Which are demonstrated by the cardinal plane, fixed plane, mutable plane. Thus, they see themselves as God, right? Because only who controls the cardinal plane, mutable plane, and and the mutable plane, right? Only Allah controls the universe, right? So they're the Antichrist by wearing that head guard, that three fold head garb, right? He's representing he's God, right? Like the pharaohs, right? Who wore the crown as well, right? Now, the reason why the Alkebulan Afro-Kemetic uh, pharaohs, which represents father, wore the crown was because he represented Adam, right? And the black carbon atom, right? So now the West wants to have that title as the Adam, right? But they are the anti-Adam, anti-Christ, anti-black. They're black lacking, right? They're lacking the DMT melanin, right? The carbon, right? They're lacking that. Thus, they are the antichrist, the synagogue of Satan. And as I said before, who introduced Judaism to the Ashkenazis, right, was Paul, right? Paul never met the prophet born of a virgin. He was taught by the apostles. They call Paul Saul, right? They call Saul the 13th apostle who never met the prophet born of a virgin, right? So he went into the area known as Turkey, Byzantine Empire and all that, right? He went there and taught those people of that area, about Judaism, and said that they could keep all of their, they didn't, all they had to do was accept Jesus, right? Or accept the Christ, right? And they would be Jews. They would be embraced into the basically the kingdom of God, right? But they were Gentiles. They were phallic worshipers, penis worshipers, right? That's why they're mostly homosexuals, right? Okay, so that is where they get their knowledge of Judaism from, right? They get it from Saul, right? They get that knowledge from Saul. Okay, who again never met the prophet born of a virgin, right? He just he learned from the he received his knowledge from the apostles who met the prophet born of a virgin, right? Who were followers. And if you want to know a great deal about the teachings of the prophet born of a virgin, the book of Barnabas is a very good book to read. A very, very, very good book to read. Now, so anyway, okay, so the West, the aristocratic West, Ashkenazi West seeks to have supremacy over the East, right? So, and one can see that that was done with the Macedonians, right? And their attempt to oppress the Alkibul, the Kemites, right? The Kemetic people, and claim Africa for them, not Africa, but Egypt for themselves, right? And as we said, Egypt represents Hipkapta, yeah, Hipkapta, right? Hipkapta, which represents capital, right? It represents capital, right? So Egypt was supposed to represent the capital, right? Okay, because it's Hipkapta, right? It represents capital. Okay. Now, there's another. Now, and many Hebrew Israelites say they were here in Americas prior to the enslavement of Hebrew Israelites. Many Hebrew Israelites say that they are indigenous to America. Okay? Many say that they were, again, natives of this land. And once I researched and was able to discover that many were here prior to the enslavement of the Hebrew Israelites of Alkebulan. And one can say that because of all the discoveries of the Egyptian, not artifacts, but there are artifacts, but the Egyptian hieroglyphs and statues and various other Egyptian structures, right? Now, so, and many of it go through Ohio, right? A lot of it is found in Ohio, which is why they call Illinois, Carbondale, Illinois, Little Egypt is in Carbondale, Illinois, right? Okay. Now, how do we prove that? Because what did they say? America was called Tamara, Tamarapa, Tamaraka, right? Tamaraka, right? But before it was Tamaraka, it was Tamarapa, right? Tamarapa. And they call that the land of love, right? Tamarapa or Tamaraka was known as the land of the love land, right? right? Now, and you can do your research, Tamarapa or Tamaraka was known as the Love Land. Now, if we say it was Tamarapa and we put the pa in front of the ta, right? We have pa ta mara, right? Patamara, 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 right? Now, now we have, let's say we have Egypt is really Hipkapta, Hipkapta, right? Hipkapata, Hipkapata, Hipkapata. Now we have Patamara, Patamara, right? So we still have the Pata, right? In America, and we have in the east and in the west, right? And we have Egyptian hieroglyphs, Egyptian statues, Egyptian um, structures, right? The step pyramids. We have the same culture, right? The same Afro-Kemetic culture, right? And as it relates to the name as well. So that's going back into, well, how did I get there? How did I get there? The East wanting to be superior to, no, the West wanted to be superior to the East and trying to steal the culture in doing so as it relates to Ashkenazis, as it relates to Judaism, as it relates to Zionism. That's what we're doing, right? And then we have the House of Representatives along with the Zionist president of Corpse America trying to say that Zionism is equated to Judaism, and anyone speaking against Zionism is is an anti-Semitic and can be charged with terrorism, right? Well, again, there is a separation between church and state, and if Zionism is equated with Judaism, then that's the House of Representatives trying to, it's unconstitutional, okay? And that's to regulate or to impose itself upon religion, right? Using the state to impose itself on religion and religiously persecuting individuals. Now, and then under the guise of terrorism, right? Hate speech. Again, that is disinformation. And if they are Zionist Nazis are Jews, Hebrew Israelites, do a DNA test. Prove it that they are Hebrew Israelites. And a surety you cannot, because they are not. Just as it is illegal to take a DNA test in the occupation of those who occupy Palestine, the Israel, that not even Israel, but the Nazi occupation of Palestine. So if Zion, which is supposed to represent Mount Zion, right, which is in Kenya, right, if that Zionism is equated to Judaism, then, and Mount Zion is associated with Judaism, then the Ashkenazis are not Zionists. They are what they are, Nazis. So the Ashkenazis are Nazis. And my Hebrew Israelite ancestors, right, are associated with Mount Zion. Nazis are not. And Nazis are the Gog and Magog, the synagogue of Satan. Shaitanyahu. Ashkenazis are of the synagogue of Shaitanyahu. Shaitan Yahudi, the fake one. And that gibberish they speak is not Hebrew. It's gibberish. It's gibberish. Okay, so they want to equate, or by way of the Vatican, right, the universal church, they want to have dominion over the world by claiming Ashkenazi Nazi supremacy, right, over the world, over the East. The West will never be superior over the West. The West will never be superior over the East. The East has the spirituality, the history, the knowledge, the prophets, the great architectures, the architectural design structures. It has as I said, the prophets. It has the Holy Scriptures. It has the vortex. It has the holy land. It has the animals, all the animals of nature. It has the DMT, melanin-rich Alkebulan nations. It has the first man and woman to be sent down on earth that were created by Allah, right? It is the motherland of all humanity, from which all humanity rose out of. It civilized the entire world. So the West will never be superior to the East. The sun rises, the sun rises from the East, right? Thus does all the planets rise from the East, right? So it will never be comparable to, the West will never be comparable to the East, and that's just an inferior, complex. Let me go to video 4.